So once you've freed the minecart, you can explore the mines, and it's one of the best parts of the game. I just love all the multiple pathways you can take in the mines, and how it feels like a really crazy roller coaster ride, and it just lets you explore every part of it. But this part has to be the strangest puzzle in the game. You find this carrot with your mask, and I have to admit, this guy is pretty cool in the way he acts.
Anyway, I need the mask to protect my identity as the leader of the Salad Liberation Front.
The what?
The Salad Liberation Front. We're a group of veggies fighting against the course system. We're tired of being relegated to the salad. We want to be the main course.
Then you have to take him to the kitchen to free his fellow carrots. But you have to go through a singing sequence to do this because apparently all the characters in the kitchen speak through song.
Please, won't you open the door since I have another victim?
What? I surrender, not ever. Oh wait, now I see. You now have captured that troublesome carrot eater guy. I'll open up my door so you can put that rogue inside my drawer.
Oh no, our orange leader was caught.
Our fight for our freedom for us.
That is pretty over the top, and I love it, even though it is really cheesy. So the first two superhero items that you get don't really play that big of a role in the story at first. You just have to figure out how to get them. For your lunchbox, you need to find a magnet and then use it on it. And then the other one, you just have to figure out how to open the door. They aren't really made significant at first, but then when you play the game again, after you've beaten it, the puzzles will change sometimes, and they'll make one of them harder than it was before. So now the mask isn't with the carrot, it's under the leg of the table in the dancing furniture room. And this requires more steps than last time to get it. I thought that was so cool and innovative, because it makes the game have great replayability. The items felt more significant to me this time, and made the quest feel more epic to me as a kid. Getting the item back requires you to think harder now, about your situation and the items you find, and makes you think, okay, what have I not tried? What could I do to help me get further in my quest? And you start looking harder around the areas for clues or items to figure it out. What is pretty interesting is when you play the game for the first time and you explore around, you'll notice some characters that don't really serve a purpose at first. But then when you play again, some of them will actually serve a purpose in your quest in getting back the items you need. Like, hey, remember that wishing well you talked to before? Now you can't get to him as easily. Now you have to figure out how to get to him a different way because your lunchbox is right next to him. Or hey, remember that laboratory in the mines with the chair that ran around but didn't do anything for you? Well, now you need the chair's help to get this blue potion so you can turn invisible and get your mask back. It's just really amazing that the creators cared enough to give this game great replayability by making you come back each time you play because each item has its own harder puzzle, so you'll be wanting to try to get them all. This will really help kids use their thinking skills more when trying to figure out what to do next. I remember it taking me a long time to figure out exactly what to do in these more difficult puzzles. I'm surprised it's rated ages 3 to 8 because I don't see 3-year-olds getting much out of this game or being able to solve that many puzzles. I think this game is for 5 to 10-year-olds if you ask me. Real quick, I want to cover the graphics and the sound. The graphics look really amazing. The animations are just surging with energy. I mean, it's no Walt Disney, but it was pretty well done for its time when it came out, if you compare it to other games. It's pretty cool how well they use sprites to animate it. Yes, they're using sprites if you couldn't tell. Unless there's some kind of other method they're using, I can't really tell, but it looks like sprites most of the time. Compared to other games that were coming out at the time, this game is very well made because there wasn't that many games at this time that had this much detail and animation put into it. This game really shows it cares about its audience. Like, it is impressive to me how well it looks like a cartoon most of the time. I mean, if you look at other games like The Dig and Full Throttle, those games only use detailed animation at certain points in the game. Most of the animation in those games are just generic sprite animation that aren't as detailed as this game's sprites. The only game I can compare this game's graphics to is a game that came out after Pajama Sam, which is The Curse of Monkey Island. I'm using LucasArts games in particular because they use some of the same staff and tools as Humongous Entertainment did, though it probably has a lot of detailed animation put into it because it's a short game, and the length isn't as long as LucasArts games are. The music is very nice. It really fits with the environment when you're exploring, and it is done very well in sync with the cutscenes. I can tell that they were trying when they made the music, but sometimes music doesn't feel as good. It just feels generic and just like it's there, like, you know, just some beats in the background they came up with. But other times it's really nice. It helps with the dramatic cutscene, and it helps with the atmosphere and all that. So it's pretty good for the most part. The voice acting is pretty good in my opinion. I mean, some of them are weird. There's not that many that really are annoying. The voice acting's done pretty well, I think. As far as the characters go, I don't really find any of them that annoying except for Otto, who just really doesn't know when to shut up.
Most geysers are located in Wyoming, New Zealand, or Iceland. The word geyser originated in Iceland.
Okay, now for the conclusion. Growing up on Humongous Entertainment, I played Freddy Fish, I played Putt-Putt, and I even played Buzzy the Knowledge Bug, which apparently isn't as well known. Those I found to be pretty fun, and I had a great time with them, but Pajama was the game that I felt really stood out among the rest. It tried something different that I thought really made it one of those special kinds of kids games you don't see very often. It had a dark tone, it had a mysterious villain, and scary characters, and the place you went to seemed to always have a spooky tone to the environment everywhere you went. It didn't matter that some of the game felt kinda happy and, like a dumb kid's game. What was going on in my head most of the time was how in the world is Sam going to defeat darkness? You don't know anything about him, and the mere mystery of what he could do to Sam, and the assumption of him being this really scary guy who has a scary name, and you expect him to be like the villain from a comic book. It looks like he wants to make everything turn to darkness. Really gives you the impression that this guy is going to mess you up when you get to him. You're going to have more than just a cheap lunchbox if you want to get rid of this guy. So that was the main thrill of it for me. And what really got me intrigued into the game as a child was the big fear factor it gave me. This is a game that really shows that kids like to be scared. Being scared is fun as long as it doesn't actually hurt you, or nothing bad happens to you as a result of it. Kids love the thrill of mystery, of what lies behind the darkness, and not knowing what the villain's going to do next, especially the ones that are just really totally out of control villains, that really frighten kids and make them want to keep watching, or in this case, keep playing until they get to the end of the story, just so they can see what happens to the main characters and how they overcome the villain. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm sorry it took so long, but I just had a lot to say, and I felt it had to be a long review for you. And, Dad, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just enjoying a great tasting invention from the great man, George Washington Craver.
Well, alrighty then. Anyway, that's all the time we have for...
Carver didn't just invent peanut butter. He invented all kinds of things from the peanut and from soy milk and other foods like...
Dad, can you please stop? The show is over and I'm gonna have to close out.
What? But I didn't even get to the part about how peanut butter is made. Of course it's not made out of regular butter because that comes from milk. Peanut butter is grinded down into a nice smooth spread and has some added sugar and salt. It takes over 1,000 nuts to make peanut butter,